Although removed from each other geographically, both Thailand and Hungary share its attachment to water because Hungary has the Danube and Thailand has the Mekong. As well, it makes sense that two countries can compare their water strategies. The major topic of the cooperation will be the effectiveness of the water management scheme.
But last year's floods in Thailand were a disaster, while Danube River actually causing Hungary a flood every single year. And this actually makes them reflect on the quality of the water management of both countries.
In early 2011, on our same SOM meeting here in Budapest, we started to consult each other among Mekong riparian countries and Danube River riparian countries about the possibility of holding a kind of cooperation between the two regions, mainly the Mekong rivers and Danube rivers. Since then, back in 2011, I think in June or July, during the ASEM Foreign Minister meeting in Budapest, there was a provision in Chairman's statement stipulating that we should look at the possibility of working together between Mekong River and Danube rivers. And then Hungary and Laos, we are quite active to follow up what our decision made by our foreign ministers. In this time, we came to Budapest again to implement what the decision made by our foreign minister in 2011. And this seminar was held by Hungarian Foreign Ministry in a way that to explore the possibility of establishing the concrete cooperation between Mekong River and Danube River. We haven't yet reached to the point of the MRC cooperation with the Danube Commission. It's just a matter of process now. But when time will come, I don't know yet, maybe at the end of the year or sometime next year, or any time, then we are ready. If the Mekong riparian countries are ready to accept the framework, then it's going to be a new mechanism established between the Mekong River and the Danube River.
Besides the Thai-Hungarian cooperation on water management, the commissions that take care of the Mekong and the Danube River basins are basically joining their efforts. At the international conference on the stature of the future of the world's large rivers in Vienna last year, the two regions compared their approaches.
I could say that the Danube region and the Mekong region share the same challenges. Sometimes the challenges are at a somewhat different level. Sometimes the drivers are similar and somewhat different, but at the end, the pressures, the challenges we have are shared. Although there are different frameworks, the voluntary work and the legal framework are complementary to each other, and the sub-regional cooperation is a very efficient platform. It is a very flexible platform and very efficient platform to complement existing framework. What is essential that we have a common understanding of those challenges, and as far as I could feel from the presentations today, we are all aware of the challenges, and we have the same notion along the Danube and along the Mekong about the challenges. And it is very important that both countries in shared river basins, and both in terms of the different sectors which are pressures or are affected by the challenges, have to be incorporated in a planning and management cooperation in order to be efficient in addressing this situation.
So will there be any sharing of information between the two commissions, Danube commissions and the Mekong commissions later on, in terms of changing officials, in terms of sharing the knowledge?
I feel a mutual interest in that, and let's face it, our challenges are a whole new level now. Both the Danube and the Mekong has some long track for international cooperation, but for new levels of challenges pressed by the climate change, or identifying new ways of cooperation, because we focused on the utilization of the rivers at the beginning. Now we are aware that utilization is still a very important part, but we have to deal with the ecosystem, with the pollution, with the environmental pressures as well. So to address these challenges and address these very fast changes, we have to exchange all our expertise. It was very interesting to hear the need for a science-based approach for these challenges. So it is important that we exchange our ideas, exchange our experience.
Both the Danube and the Mekong River basins are shared river, international rivers used by many nations. That's why any actions construct upon the river used by the river will immediately affect the others. Well, since the impact will be carried forward by the rivers. Well, to get all the different necessities together, the European Union finalized a strategic macro-regional project.
The Danube strategy is a shared effort of the countries within the Danube region. It is a macro-regional strategy. It's an absolutely new framework that is a framework of the European Union, but incorporates 8 countries who are EU member states and 6 countries who are part of the macro-region, but are not members of the European Union. Still, it is a unique framework for it is an EU framework, so it is backed by all the institutions and the legal framework and regulations of the European Union. It is also a voluntary framework of cooperation incorporating the non-member states, and it provides a set of tools for cooperation in terms of a platform for strategic cooperation, identifying new policies, making common projects.
Let's shift a little bit of focus from waters to cyber stuff. Well, just this month, the October 2012, Hungary will host the International Conference on Cyberspace, which actually took place in London last year. It will this year enlist a number of 600 to 700 participants from all over the world, and of course, including ASEAN.
The motto of the conference is "With trust and security for freedom and prosperity." And I think these 4 words, trust, security, freedom and security, express the idea in principle that we have. So if you want to have a secure cyberspace, you have to organize a good cooperation and pursue a good cooperation between the different players. That's why we bring together these different segments dealing with cyberspace. We want to cover all aspects as much as possible, and we also want to focus on the relationship between the different players and on how these players can act together, maintaining their sovereignty, their autonomy, without giving up that, to make cyberspace more secure and also freer, because the word freedom is again very important. So internet security, internet freedom, children's rights, for example, are very important aspects. International legal developments are important.
Hungary is still trying to develop a coherent information technology strategy that provides security and freedom at the same time.
We have started working on our cyberspace approaches and thinking. We don't have yet a comprehensive cyberspace strategy, but my intention is that with the organization of this conference, we can push the idea of having a conscious approach towards cyberspace and a good governmental structure in Hungary too.
So what's going to be the implications for the ASEAN countries? How can they participate, or be more aware, about this?
The ASEAN as an organization and the region representing 600 or 700 million people is, I think, a very important region in the 21st century, because it's just boosting and coming up. And in that respect, the ASEAN has an interest, I think, in sharing experience, good practices, sharing the experience about threats and challenges, and maybe to discuss how different regions in the world could work together to optimize forces and to optimize opportunities and to optimize the capability to counter threats coming.
There have been confrontations with threats like cyber attacks and cyber warfare around the world. And of course, ASEAN countries have been discussing about this consistently, its cybersecurity strategies, how to protect the information technology. And the conference here aims at showing good example of how to deal with internet and computer problems.
Yes, and despite the know-how on water management and opportunity it holds for trade, Hungary is interested in tourism, competing with France, Italy, and Greece. It is not much acknowledged yet, but it is likely, and more tourists will cherish the famous beach goulash and the great cultural heritage.
สำหรับเรื่องของ
For the investment part, I can say that tourism is the key in boosting the economic relationship between Thailand and Hungary. Last year, Thailand received 15,000 Hungarian tourists, and good thing about this is that they don't need to apply for visa when coming to Thailand. However, when it comes to Thai people visiting Hungary, this can be tricky because they need to apply for a Schengen visa. For trading, Hungary is considered as the distributing center of products to other European countries such as Central Europe or Eastern Europe. Hungary itself doesn't have any border to the sea, but if the ships took the journey via Adriatic Sea to stop at Rijeka port in Croatia, would consume less time in distributing the goods rather than going via Rotterdam or Hamburg. When compared to other Eastern European nations, what makes Hungary stands out? Of course, its location, its history, its art and culture, since the country is seen as the door to eastern part in Europe. In terms of the economy, even Hungary doesn't have a strong economy, but it does have a good economic foundation.
There are some culturally rich museums, such as the Royal Academy of Music in Budapest. It holds the pianos Franz Liszt, the famous composer, pianist, and teacher who played on while he was the president of the Academy, which during his time in the 19th century, he influenced many of his contemporaries.
We are now standing in the room where Franz Liszt used to live. Could you tell us something about him, about this place, which has become a museum?
Now it is a museum, but at one time it was his official flat at the Academy of Music. He lived here from 1881 to 1886 when he was in Budapest. It was the building of the Academy of Music where he got an official flat. And in his period of his lifetime, he lived in 3 towns, in Rome, Weimar, and here in Budapest. Budapest, he spent the winter season. He was one of the founders of the Academy of Music, Hungarian Academy of Music.
Was he very productive then, in composing music, while he was
Not
staying
only,
here?
but also for founding the first professors for the Academy of Music. He had an international interview because since he lived throughout Europe, and he wanted to collect the best professors for the Academy of Music from the whole Europe. Also, for example, the first violin teacher came from Brussels because he taught before in the Brussels Conservatory. It was Jenő Huba, he was a Hungarian original. And also, he had the scope of the Academy of Music. He was the president of the Academy of Music, and he had also the master class.
Well, Franz Liszt left behind an extensive and diverse body of work, and of course set trends for the next century, where the museum holds concerts of classical music every Saturday.
Yes, and that's all the time we have for today. And towards 2015, you can follow us again, same place, same time, same channel for today. Thank you for watching. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ